Hey guys, welcome back to TohirT channel. Tahir is here. I hope you had a fantastic week. In today's video, we're talking about yet another person whose words resonated perfectly with a few different messages that I've slotted in my prior videos. And that person is Kevin Hart. Yes, I am saying Kevin Hart, the comedian, is a great role model, and by the end of this video, I'm confident I will convince you in that idea as well. A few disclaimers to get out of the way. Number one, I cannot call myself a die-hard fan of Kevin Hart, and I will comment on a couple of controversies that came up recently regarding his name, and it's gonna be the first part of this video. And the second disclaimer, I was inspired to make this video after listening to his interview with Joe Rogan on Joe Rogan podcast. The reason I want to make the disclaimer, Joe Rogan's podcast is its own walking controversy, and this is not part of this video. So we will focus on what Kevin said. We're not gonna talk about Joe or the podcast. We'll leave it for the next video. Good? I think those all the disclaimers out of the way. Let's talk Kevin Hart. Let's do this.
Kevin Hart situation.
Oh my God.
We're talking about this all day.
Oh, yeah.
There are 5 parts to this story, and the chapter number 1 is the f***ups. Yeah, there's just no better way to describe what we're about to discuss, and it is important to get it out of the way first. Kevin's name is associated with a few controversies out there that put his character in question. The 2 most recent ones that come to mind are the cheating allegations and the debacle around the 10-year-old tweets that jeopardized his hosting duties at the most recent Oscars. I cannot say what he did or did not do. What I can emphasize is that he came out right away and owned his mistakes. So many celebrities and popular figures out there, when it comes to their actual mistakes, usually try to avoid them or hide away from ever talking about that controversial topic, where Kevin is on the opposite spectrum of that. He came out, he owned his mistakes, he spoke about what led him to make those mistakes and how he's working through them. This is important. Too many times we idolize those people. We think of them as this impenetrable symbol that can do no wrong. While they're regular people like you and me, they do make mistakes. We make mistakes. We all just fumble through life trying to figure things out as we go. I'm confident that no one has a perfect answer for what good is, what is black versus what is white. It's all really this muddy shades of gray, and before you discount Kevin Hart as a role model, think about all of the mistakes that you've done. So, Kevin Hart, the first point on the scoreboard of being a role model is yours.
Kevin Hart situation.
Oh my God.
We're talking about this all day.
Oh, yeah.
Chapter number 2, the kids. I was born in a third world country, and now I raise my kids in the USA. On one hand, it is an amazing opportunity. I can give them so much more than what I had. On the other, I too tend to question myself. Will my kids miss some of the important lessons that life gave me as we faced some of those hardships, as we did not have the money, the things, the opportunities that they now have? Hardships are one of the best teachers in life. They make you a more resilient person. But I don't know what the right answer is. When I see those rich spoiled brats, I know that ain't it. At the same time, when I hear the stories of some of those kids who grew up in a terrible environment in the middle of the military zone, somewhere in Africa, in the Middle East, in Northern Africa, I know this is not the right way to create a safe environment for the kids either. There must be a golden middle between those two situations. And I'm not even rich and famous. Now imagine if your kids are growing up with the last name Hart. There's no playbook on how you handle that kind of situation, how you raise a decent person out of your kids in that kind of environment. Kevin has to figure out, the same way as we all do, what is the best way to raise your kids right. And based on what he said in that interview, I think he's moving in the right direction.
The fear and panic is that you gotta know that bad and crazy exists.
Right.
This fairy tale that we're in isn't real, and at some point, when I'm not around, when your mother's not around, when your friends or other family aren't around, you may get tested with the other side that's out here that you've never seen.
Right.
So I gotta prepare you for the that you don't know exists.
Remaining grounded and staying connected to your roots will, hopefully, help your kids appreciate where your family came from and what it took to get there. It is also important to show them that whole other world that exists out there, where food just doesn't magically appear in the fridge, and the lack of the strong Wi-Fi is the least of your worries. Introduce your kids to all the different facets of life. Show them what it takes for someone to build themselves up from the bottom, and maybe, just maybe when it's their time to go out there and explore, instead of indulging in their own favorable situation, they will go make a difference and improve the circumstances for those who are less favorable than they are. So Kevin Hart, you raising your kids right is the second point on the score of being a great role model.
Kevin Hart situation.
Oh my God.
We're talking about this all day.
Oh, yeah.
Chapter number 3, the inclusiveness. I am a big believer that we should be judged on the merit of our own actions and the circumstances that we're in. All the other factors like the religious background, the cultural background, the socioeconomic background, they do not matter. During that interview, Kevin Hart brought up a few times the point of the inclusiveness, and I'm glad that he did, because the people like himself who are in the spotlight should be setting the example for all of us out there. How we treat each other sets the tone for how the world develops around us. Kevin Hart and Joe Rogan during that interview spoke at length about the social media and its effect on our society. How it all of a sudden became uncool to be nice to each other, and now everyone is in this hunt for the next controversy to score those likes and retweets.
You don't even know what they're talking about, but you just want to hop on the negative train.
Right.
Because that's what's cool. It's not cool to be positive. It's not cool to be happy.
Taking a stand in that kind of environment is important. You are drawing a name on your back, and it is commendable. I wish more people would be vocal about the inclusiveness. Accept each other for who we are, and this world might get tiny little bit better. Kevin Hart, third point for being a great role model.
Kevin Hart situation.
Oh my God.
We're talking about this all day.
Oh, yeah.
Chapter 4, the hard work. This is an easy one, especially if you've read Kevin's biography or heard the stories about him. The best way I can summarize it, Kevin is an overnight success, a decade in the making. Kevin has been touring different clubs and smaller venues with his stand-up show for almost 10 years before he got his first break with a proper movie, Think Like a Man, which arguably launched his Hollywood star. Kevin showed dedication and ability to work hard in a situation where a lot of us would have given up. It is important. You do not wake up one day as a successful business professional. You do not wake up one day to your small startup going public, or you as a rich and famous individual. We all have to put our time in to reach our goals. A little bit of luck will not hurt, but as one of my favorite saying goes, luck is what happens when the preparation meets opportunity. Kevin worked hard, and he stayed dedicated. In the moment the opportunity knocked on his door, he was ready. If you're working towards a goal, if it seems like you are not getting a break, keep pushing, work hard, stay dedicated, and when the time comes, you will be ready. Mr. Hart, 4 points in for being a great role model, 1 point to go.
Kevin Hart situation.
Oh my God.
We're talking about this all day.
Oh, yeah.
Chapter 5, why not? This is the most important chapter of them all. I kept it for you, my most dedicated viewers. So if you did not retain the first 4 chapters, make sure you write this one down in ink. Kevin is into a lot of things. He does stand-up shows, he stars in the movies, in the TV shows, he has his own production companies, he writes the movies, he has a very entertaining YouTube channel, he even entered the multivitamin scene. Also, he has 3 kids, a wife, and he maintains a rigorous workout schedule. When Joe asked him about his motivation, his drive to push forward every single day, he said the following.
All I'm doing is sparking the awareness in others to go, why not? Why can't I create? Why can't I start? Why can't I be a business? Why can't I be a CEO? Why can't I be a tech guru? There's so much that some people just don't understand they can do. Let me be a spark to show how many different, you don't have to do just one thing.
I love it. This is true no limits mindset. When in doubt, just keep pushing through. Don't let anyone discourage you from doing and achieving your goals. When you are a car mechanic, you want to play a guitar, someone asks why do you need it? Say why not and keep pushing. There are too many limitations and challenges out there already. Why create another one? Just stay dedicated, bite down on your mouthpiece, keep your head down, and why not your way through everything. On top of that, Kevin gave me another great quote on this very topic. Think of your life as a book. Think of it as every action you take, every path that you take is logged on the pages of your story. So is it a good story? If it's not, what do you need to do to make sure this is the story worth retelling?
We're all writing a book. What's your book look like? You got a bunch of chapters in your book, but when they close that book, how good was the book? How good was your book? What was the ending to your book?
Ask yourself those questions. Don't always pick the safest route. We are on this planet for a very short amount of time, so there's no reason why you would not give your 100% to everything. Kevin Hart, this is your fifth and final point for being a great role model. And to you, my dear viewer, what does your book look like?
Kevin Hart situation.
Oh my God.
We're talking about this all day.
Oh, yeah.
Well, these were the 5 points that I wanted to bring up to convince you that Kevin Hart is a good role model. No, he's not ideal. None of us are. But when it comes to people who inspire me to be better, who inspire me to push myself harder and further, he's at the top of my list. Do you agree that Kevin Hart is a good role model? If you disagree, how so? And are there other personalities out there, albeit controversial, offer great advice that we should all follow or at least listen to? Share their names and the links in the section below. If this video remotely piqued your interest, go and check out the full version of the podcast. It's about 2 hours. I'll link the video version and the iTunes version in the description below. Other than that, thank you very much, guys, for stopping by. If you're new to this channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and check out the videos in the backlog. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you very much for stopping by. As always, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this video, and I will see you all next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, on this very channel. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm making this serious. I like talking about people who truly inspire me. I like to break down the inspiration in this kind of video essays. So hopefully you enjoy it as well. Let me know if you want me to continue this heart-to-heart conversation. Listen, there were 2 bad puns. I needed a 3rd bad pun for an even number. Or uneven? Odd? Odd. Jesus. End of the day, forgetting the language. Anyway, see you in the next one. Peace!